Hello and welcome to our video on summation as part of the neuronal communication topic. So there are two main types of summation, and that is temporal and spatial. And what summation is it's when it's the effects of several excitatory postsynaptic potentials are added together. So the addition of many excitatory postsynaptic potentials, and that's it in its simplest form. So I'll go through the mechanisms of temporal summation first, and then I'll go on to spatial. So temporal summation is when we have several action. Hang on, let me just make sure I've got this right. So one action potential in the presynaptic neuron. So it's one action potential in presynaptic neuron. Does not produce an action potential in the postsynaptic potential. Postsynaptic neuron, sorry. Instead what we need is, I've illustrated by this graph here, if this dotted line is our threshold of minus 45 MV, and this is what is needed to reach an action potential. And we've got several, because of this a relatively small number of acetylcholine molecules that are diffusing across the cleft, it produces only a small depolarization. So that this small depolarization caused by the diffusion of only a few acetylcholine molecules is what we refer to as an excitatory postsynaptic potential. And in order for us to generate an action potential, we need many of these in order to reach the threshold potential. So the effects of these combining together increases the membrane depolarization until it reaches the threshold. So as we can see here, we've got a small amount of an action potential, but obviously it's not gone, and then we keep getting a little bit more, and then we get to the action potential, and then we've got the same stages of our resting potential, depolarization, repolarization, hyperpolarization, and then back to our resting potential there. So this is the action of several action potentials, but it's in the same presynaptic neuron. So it's same neuron. So there's only one neuron involved in temporal summation. Sorry, you can't see that. There we are. So just put same neuron, so we're only involving one. As you can see here, there's one neuron and one postsynaptic neuron. But if we're looking at temporal summation here, we can see we've got three. We've got 1, 2, 3. They're all presynaptic neurons, and there's one postsynaptic. So the difference, as you can see, with spatial summation, is it just that we've got several presynaptic neurons all contributing their action potentials to the postsynaptic neuron. So as you can see, it takes the graph moves more like a little bit, but it doesn't go all the way back down. We don't get the full depolarization, and then it reaches the threshold potential quicker. So we have this from several different presynaptic neurons. And that's basically it. But then if we're going to have a look at this, another type of potential, which is, I'm going to abbreviate it to IPSP, so it's an inhibitory postsynaptic potential, and they can reduce the effect of summation. So they're going to reduce the effect of summation, and they're going to prevent an action potential. So they're going to stop the action potential in the postsynaptic neuron. And then we can also say for the control of communication that several presynaptic neurons can converge, so that's what's happening here, because there's three going into one, so they're converging. Whereas hang on. So the difference would be if it was a diverging, I'll just show you here, because there's two, you can converge or diverge. What would happen if it was a diverging? You would get one presynaptic neuron releasing into several postsynaptic neurons, which is more similar to this, but this is, and then that's a diverging. Okay. So this is all we're really saying, so it's just these key terms there. And then let me just, I'm going to introduce you to another keyword that is also important to include. If I can just have a little look. I can't actually find that. I'm sure it was. Oh. So going off of diverging, what we mean as well, another word, it'd be integration, which is another, the role or importance really of the neurons, and it allows one neuron to connect to many other neurons, so we're not only connecting to one, connecting to 3 here. So yep, that's everything. Thank you for watching.